So, what did we just watch?
We just watched Star Trek The Next Generation, Episode 3, The Naked Now. It sounds provocative.
It does. It's titillating.
Yeah, and that's exactly where it went.
Yeah. On episode 3.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Oh my god.
That was strange. It starts off with like, I mean, I bet you a Star Trek nut would know this, and I think it's probably. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the show starts with a mystery, right? Is that how all Star Trek episodes begin, with mystery?
Kinda. There's a definite, like, introduction for the episode, I think.
Okay, and maybe all right, so let's tell people your history with Next Generation, so that, because I'm always asking you questions, right? So
Okay, so I watched The Next Generation when I was younger, like in my teens.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't watch it for a really long time, so this is my, second or third rewatching.
And was it seen as a nerdy thing in a Canadian school?
I think so, yeah. None of my friends watched it.
Right, and were you one of the cool kids?
No.
Right. So you were a nerd, and it was
we were
still
strange in high school.
And still none of your other friends watched it?
No, I think they tolerated me watching it, but it's not like we geeked out about it.
Right. And you're going back to watch this with me.
Yes.
And we're just both, you're rediscovering it and I'm discovering it for the first time.
Okay. It's fun to see you watch it for the first time.
So what's the mystery in this? The mystery is frozen crew. Is it frozen crew? They were frozen, they were all dead.
Yeah, they somehow went mad or something and killed themselves, and then we have to figure out how and why.
And there's a weird star that's making this happen. It's like a dying star, right?
Yeah, they didn't really say like how it started, or like
it's just happening.
Maybe we weren't paying attention to.
Maybe.
Because there's a part where Riker goes to Data about, he remembers hearing about this kind of situation happening on the old Enterprise.
And this is what I was going to say earlier.
Yeah.
I believe this would have happened in one of the
originals.
Old, Shatner episodes, because you can just imagine Shatner being all horny and try to shag everybody.
Yeah.
So I bet you this was a thing that happened in an old episode, and then it's just, this is version 2 and it's mutating. So
it's like they rehashed an episode.
Aye, I can't say for sure, but that sounds about.
Maybe we should look up the original series and see if there was an episode that was like this.
You can just see it though, right? You can see Shatner try to shag people and everybody going all horny, right?
It's that kind of, what's that word? Like 60s cliche. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
So, Geordi was the first to be infected, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, he's intoxicated, but right away you can tell by his body language that the dude's horny.
Yeah, loose.
Loose is a better word.
And then he got sad about him.
Oh, the eyes?
Yeah.
He couldn't see and he was just... That's weird. Nobody else had those effects.
But that's interesting though, because that's kind of how alcohol can affect different people. Like some people get horny, some people get sad, some people get like rowdy.
Yeah.
And then Wesley got just like super hyper.
Right. See, I thought they were mistaken. I was like, well, Picard kept saying, oh, it's intoxication.
Mm-hmm.
And you make bad decisions when you're drunk. And I was like, okay, but it just looks like they're all horny. So I was like, maybe
I could go at the beginning. Remember, Tasha came back all horny?
Yeah.
And then like all the crew members started just like hanging off each other.
And Data was horny as well. And
yeah, that was weird.
That was weird. Like,
I remember seeing that at the time and thinking it was weird.
At the time, you thought it was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird for me as well.
Okay. So that didn't age well.
Yeah, as far as the mythology of Star Trek: The Next Generation, I know that I didn't expect Data to be like that.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be like C-3PO or something.
Oh, okay.
Like a protocol droid.
Yeah.
Like really handy and nice. Not like this.
He has a weird edge.
Goofy.
Early Data is like...
Why do they call him Data? Shouldn't it be Data?
I don't know, I think...
Is it like an American, European versions of Data and Data? Don't know.
Must be. I don't know what the difference is.
And
That's just pronunciation.
So the next person it really affects is Wesley Crusher. And I still don't like him.
No.
He reminds me, watching this had a sleazy vibe to it. It was like, you know, when there's like a filter over the screen and it makes everything all dreamy and
like the soap opera fuzziness.
Aye, soap opera fuzziness, but I don't think it's the quality of the show we watched. I think it's just it had that scuzzy look about it, like you're looking at a carpet from the 1960s. A gross carpet.
From the original series.
So watch, that whole vibe gave me flashbacks to Lost in Space. So it is 60s quality. Maybe they were going for that, because if this disease or infection or whatever was in the original show, and the original show was all kind of 60s and stupid and comical and weird, maybe they were going with that whole vibe and they just went there 100%.
And then in the later seasons they took it more seriously because they don't act.
When I say I get Lost in Space vibes, I get that from Wesley Crusher. You know, he's totally Will Robinson. Not like Will Robinson, Danger Will Robinson. And he's like
the brainy nerd,
the brainy clever guy who comes up with all the inventions and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when he shows Geordi his little machine, and he's like, "Oh, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this," and
that's a Will Robinson thing.
Yeah, like he make a thing, but this time Wesley's got this machine so that it can come into play later on using the force field, so he can take over the Enterprise. So it's just like, no, don't like that. Don't like him. And Chief Engineer McDougal. Scotty McDougal. Come on.
What was Scotty's last name?
Oh shit. That
was it a thing? Did they even have it?
I'm sure he did. It was fuck.
Scott.
It's probably a really Scottish name, like Ferguson.
Because later on... Oh no, that's the transporter chief. That guy's name's OBrien.
OBrien, the Irish guy, right?
Yeah, he's the transporter guy. He comes in later.
So we spent time in this one. We spent a wee bit of time, more time with Riker, but he didn't really seem to be affected by the alcohol. Maybe he's just drunk all the time, so it doesn't affect him.
He's already drunk and horned up, so he doesn't need a virus.
He's always horny. And then, because I think you told me that Riker becomes a bit of a player later on.
Yeah, he's a womanizer.
So when Diana Troy comes to him and says, Riker, I am affected by the virus, I want you, and he takes her to sickbay, I don't think the version of Riker that I'm seeing, I'm thinking Clark Gable and Mutiny and the Bounty, right? Hero type, underneath the captain, second to the captain, a bit of a player, take whatever he wants. That's what I imagined Riker to be. So if Diana Troy comes to him and says, I want you, Riker, I think my version of Riker would have taken her. So this one's got higher moral standards than the Riker I imagine. So that intrigues me. I'm interested to see where Riker goes. And I could tell I was amused by him and Data. I could tell like he was irritated by Data. There was just an irritation there. And I thought that was cool, and I hope they go there later on. What did you make about the because this scene was really awkward. It was Data and the security chief Jar. Was her name Jar? Jar? Yar.
With a Y.
Yes.
Yes.
Because that was awkward, eh?
Yeah, and I don't like Data in the early seasons. Like, he acts strangely. And like he like, my version that I remember of him would never, like, sleep with your, like, if he wouldn't do that. So
It's
his
weird.
character changes, I think. So it'll be interesting to see if you see a difference too.
He's goofy in this. I don't like him.
Yeah.
He's not my. I tell you, my favourite two characters right now, and we're on episode 3 of The Naked now. My favourite two characters are Worf and Riker. And I've still not even got an opinion on Picard yet. He's okay. He's okay. That's about it. He doesn't seem like the glue holding a ship together. He's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Yelling at people. Like, get off my bridge. Just like, don't go, whatever you do, don't go on his bridge because he's fucking pissed off. Leave his bridge alone.
Yeah, he seems cranky.
And I thought he would tear a strip off Wesley Crusher because he took over the controls or whatever. Even though he was infected, Crusher was infected, I still thought Picard would tear a strip off of that boy. like throw him overboard or something. I don't know. Like, here's a good idea for Star Trek. Have they ever done this? Where, like, on the old pirate days, they'd have a ship, and not the pirates, but the British ships, or they would take somebody and they'd leave them on an island because they were just a shit stirrer, or they commit crimes on ship. So that's where, like, Selkirk comes from. And Selkirk, I don't know if it was Andrew Selkirk or Alexander Selkirk, but he was basically left on an island.
What did he do?
I think he was in a fight with one of an officer. So they left him on the island and then fucked off for years and years and years. And he got so used to living on this island that he became, Robinson Crusoe. Basically, he was Robinson Crusoe, and that's where the book came from. And then when Selkirk came back to civilization, he was super famous but didn't adapt to it. So he went to live in a cave or something, and took all his belongings to a cave and basically lived out his days to try and get that sense of that island again, that loneliness. So a good idea for a Star Trek would be to take a Wesley Crusher that's a piece of shit, you don't like him, put him on a lonely planet to just be alone, go away.
Punishment.
We'll pick you up in 5 years after the mission's over.
And then see what happens.
Right. Anyway, long story short, I don't know about him yet. I hope we see less of him. And the point of the show was, Picard says at the end, to avoid temptation. Must avoid temptation, or something like, we will be. He said, he said we will be. Our mission will be successful, or if we avoid temptation, or it will be a good adventure or something.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of the Odyssey. So the whole point of the Odyssey is, Odysseus and his men are trying to get back to Ithaca. It's taken them 10 years to get back to Ithaca, and the obstacles in their way are temptation. It's always temptation, sexual temptation, or hunger, or greed. So when his men succumb to this temptation, horrible things happen. They die, and then until he's left alone, and he flirts with temptation, but he never really takes it on.
So he's able to keep going.
No, he keeps his head Odysseus, right? And
focus.
So that's what reminded me of that. It reminded me of the Odyssey, and this was the beginning of an Odyssey.
Yes, interesting.
So I'm excited to see where it goes, and I think the episode overall was probably a clunker. Wasn't great, was it?
Is it trying to say something? Like with that line at the end that Picard says about temptation, does that mean that, like, there won't be silliness anymore?
I don't know. But that was probably, I'd say that was like a 5 out of 10 for me. Like on the old entertain scale.
Were you bored by it?
Yeah. I was kind of bored. And
you didn't learn anything about.
Not so much. And it had that classic thing where the sun just explodes and sends like a piece of it after them, and
the popcorn piece.
And they've got to get away. The space popcorn. And they've got to get away in time, and Data comes and does his thing, and
that's the only. So the only parts that I remembered from this was the Tashiar and Data boning. part, and when Data puts the chips in. That's all. Those are the two scenes I remember.
I didn't.
That's everything else I don't remember.
Right. So, what would you give this one out of 10 on the Next Generation scale?
Yeah, like 4 or 5. It's
4 or
just
5.
bad.
Yeah.
It's not a memorable
episode,
and not. I mean, it is because it later becomes like a joke that Yar and Data.
Oh, it does. They actually do talk about it because that's what she says. This never happened.
I think it's kind of referenced, but not talked about. But it just like for fans, it's always like
a wee nod.
A weird.
Cool.
A weird thing.
All right. Well,
I think. Okay.
I think we've said enough. And what did we just watch was The Naked Now, and we'll be back with more.